Hey welcome to Parker's Reefs. On today's episode, someone has trusted me to go to the airport to pick up 4 whole boxes full of marine fish. Alright, thank you for joining me on yet another episode of Parker's Reefs, and as touched on in the intro, today I'm headed to the airport to pick up 4 boxes of live fish. Now, there's a bit of a backstory to that. I reached out to Dave, the owner of my local fish shop, and said, hey, any chance I could come in and mic you up and we could do a tour of some of the fish and coral you've got in stock at the moment? And he said, I tell you what, if you go to the airport and pick up my latest delivery of some beautiful new marine fish, it's a deal. So with an offer like that, I could not refuse, and here's how the day played out. First things first, we need to jump into the car and head on down to Melbourne Airport and see if we can fit this stock in the back of the Tesla. I have to laugh here, Melbourne Airport on Google Earth looks a little bit like a barren wasteland from an apocalypse. Alright, so now that I've picked up these boxes, managed to shoehorn them into the back of the car, now I've got them to Park Aquarium where I can hand over to Dave and Blake where they can begin their unboxing process and getting these fish ready for sale the following weekend. I might have a little peer over Dave's shoulder and see what sort of fish there are in this delivery before we go about miking him up and seeing the rest of the fish in stock, as well as having a look at all the coral as well. Picking out a random bag here. This looked like a yellow tang for a second, but I think this is actually a mimic tang. And wow, what a beautiful color he is. That's about as yellow as they come. Dave's got some more beauties here. This one looks like a blue throat trigger. I believe there may be a couple more in this delivery. And let's see what else we can find in here. Picking up another random bag. Looks like we've got a lovely medium-sized Naso tang here. Looks very nice size, very healthy in the bag, always a good sign. And if I have a little look in this box here, something striking in the corner here. This looks a bit different. It looks like a Banggai cardinal, but it's not. That's actually a snapper. That fish is going to get massive in in due time, but it's an absolute tiny little specimen right now. And then what else is in this box here? This is very bright for no aquarium lighting. Looks like a beautiful flasher wrasse of some variety there. So an awesome variety of fish showing up already. What I am going to do though is probably do a lap of the coral tanks before we then catch up with Dave to take us through all of the fish in stock. Alright, so we might start things off right here at the $35 tanks, although I will just take the opportunity to have a quick pan around the fish room, or the wet room I should say, because you can see it's looking pretty good in here. It's got the roof all the way through now, and it just really has a cool atmosphere and vibe to it. But as promised, let's start at these $35 tanks. You can see they're 35 each or 3 for 90. You can do that across multiple tanks, and in these tanks you'll find lots of small, normally easy to start with corals, a lot of encrusting LPS. In fact, some of these favias here are so hungry. Look at the pulp extension on them there, or the stingers or feeder tentacles out and about. And there's some great color on some of these for $35 a piece, which is always nice to see. Good coral health as well, always important, particularly when people are looking for new pieces to dip their toe in the water with corals. Down on the base you'll find some more pieces, including some basic $35 soft corals, another great beginner coral. There's plenty of zoas and other things in there, as well as some morphs. We'll have a look at these longfin clowns in a minute when Dave takes us through all of the fish. But in the meantime, let's keep rolling onto this next $35 system. Now you can do that multi-buy across each of the tanks, so you don't have to pick 3 from one system. You can pick 3 across the 2. This one has a lot of very orange corals on there, I will say. I quite like another one of those favias there. This Duncan's pretty cool though. It's completely encrusted onto that tile. It's unusual to see a singular head of Duncan that has encrusted its base out so far. It's normally a pretty branchy coral, so it looks pretty cool like that. In fact, I might get the DSLR out so we can have a close look at it. Look at that base just there stretching out. And it's not the only one. You can see the 2 behind it doing the same sort of thing. Pretty cool to see. Also got some nice acans in there as well, various colors there. And then down on the base here, you've got some things like some Aussie war coral, some more favias and things like that to really get your rock encrusted nicely. In fact, there's some nice blastos there. That one's very covering that tile. There's even some little lobo frags and some candy canes there as well. Scooting around the corner, that brings us over to the $60 row. So there are 4 systems here that are $60 each, or 3 for $150. And again, you can do that across any of these 4 tanks. So you've got a good choice of corals here if you want to get a Nice little bit of color and movement happening in your tank, or fill some gaps. In this system here, there are a couple of peacels up the top here, another longfin clown, but these two corals behind there, I don't actually know what species they are, but I absolutely am intrigued by them, and looks like Blake's been fragging them and keeping them going. We've also got this interesting piece here, which has got this full sort of rice paddy look to it. Little DSLR close-up on these two pieces. Look like a Favia, maybe Pectinia, something like that. Super, super nice. And then here's this piece that I said sort of looks a little bit like a rice field with the layers to it. Super, super cool. But rolling on, I want to check out these Turbinarias here. Look at the polyp extension on them. And again, I'll grab the DSLR. Look how happy and healthy they are. Super, super extended, great color. Almost looks like Zoas there, but it's actually a Turbinaria, which is pretty cool to see. Down on the base of this tank, you'll see some Rhodactis, there's some Elegants, there's some Lobos, you've got some Fungias, all sorts in there. And then heading across into the second $60 tank, you'll see a bunch of $60 Euphilia. Now, don't let the price fool you. There's some absolutely gorgeous pieces in here. They are all individual heads. Some of those heads are quite large, but some of them have got some crazy color. I will grab the DSLR out so we can have a look, and my apologies for how close the DSLR gets us up into these corals, but they are only sitting under an inch or two of water, so to get that DSLR in there, you get obviously quite the close-up. But have a look at some of the greens on those pieces there, absolutely beautiful, and you can see these are healing up and growing out very, very nicely. Great to see fragged Euphilia doing so well. This nice reverse, it's got fantastic colors in it. You've got some darker greens, you've got some brighter greens, and you've also got some that are verging onto the side of canaries where they've got a little bit of yellow in that green. Very, very nice. Here's one of those toxic bright greens there. Looks a treat, and you can see all the different shades of colors there to get a really nice little contrast going on. Another nice reverse there, which has a little bit of a green sort of vein through it. I quite like that. Very, very nice pieces indeed. Again, $60 each. Have a look at this toxic green in the back left corner there. Absolute stunner. Hard to beat that sort of money, particularly when we're talking Australian dollars here. On the base of this system, there is a number of Chalice, which for whatever reason sort of has gone out of favor here in Australia at the moment, but I'm sure, like all coral trends, will come back in vogue at some point in time. Heading on over to our second bay of $60 systems, you can see an overflow of even more Euphilia here. Again, some of those bright green ones there look a treat. You've also got some of our cheaper torch in this system here. Two different types there, the blue tip and the green tip. Very, very nice. You've got some Lobos, a little bit bigger on the Lobos here for your money. You've also got that nice piece there, which is a Lobo with a soft coral on it. Then you've got some basic Cynarias there as well. So good assortment of corals there, but there's one more tank to go at the $60 price point. And I gotta say, there's some stunners in here. Have a look at these pieces up on the top here. You've got some gorgeous Duncan colonies. Look how extended they are. You can't see the skeleton at all. And then you've got some Dallas in there. You've got some nice Favia. Quite like this Cephastria at the back there, two-tone Cephastria. But those Dallas are nice. You've got some Fireworks clove polyps. You've got a beautiful button scully there, a couple of them. You've got some nice Deshi. In fact, I'm going to grab the DSLR out because I need to have a look at some of these pieces up close. Have a look at these Duncans here. Hard to see anything other than the extension on the polyps there. They're very, very happy. You can just see an eye or two on that piece at the back. Very, very nice pieces. Good DSLR look at that two-tone Cephastria is very, very nice indeed. See that beautiful Dragon Soul Favia there. It's got quite a bit of yellow in it. These beautiful Dallas frags here, an absolute icon of SPS here in Australia. Go on to some Blastos, and then you see those Fireworks clove polyps frags that are getting quite a lot of flow, but still doing just fine. And then have a look at the colors on this button scully here. That's a true red and blue button scully at $60. Crazy, crazy nice. And then you've got some beautiful Desh here again, $60 a piece. Have a look at the colors in there, blues and greens. Nice bit of metallic to it. Very nice way to dip your toe into the water with Deshies without spending without spending a house mortgage. You can get a nice Deshi here and see how it goes. Make sure none of your fish are going to eat it without spending a fortune. There is also another piece in here. You can just see the orange over there, a branching Samacora there. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at the polyp extension on it. Super, super furry. I quite like that a lot. On the base of this system, we do have some larger soft corals. Quite like some of the colors on these pieces here. Look at these sort of thistle corals here. Absolutely gorgeous, really nice contrast with things like the bright green toadstool there, and plenty more to pick from. very, very much like the corals in that $60 system. And just having a look from the top here, you can see the branching aspect of that Samicora there. That piece has been in the tank for quite some time. It hasn't been snapped up yet, which surprises me. Moving on over to our $120 row, or 3 for $300. Again, you've got a couple systems here to pick from, and you get up into some slightly higher end Euphyllia. So you can see the torch options here expand out a little bit. They get a bit bigger, a little bit brighter, and a little bit more color variations. I'll grab the DSLR so you can see. Again, we are up pretty close and personal, but have a look at the solid green there. You've got a green heart on that piece there with the peach colored tips. You've got a darker green there with yellow tips. You've got another solid green there and some different color variations as well. So pretty nice torch, I will say. Got this massive orange piece. I don't even know what species that is, but it's huge and it's very, very bright orange. You got some more Euphyllia there, including some frog spawns. And then we come down onto the base here. Check out this big piece. I think that's an organ pipe coral. Super, super cool. It's got quite a fragile structure to it underneath with these beautiful polyp extension out the top. See some blue Tongan rhodactis there, some bigger dash. You've got a massive Duncan there. You've got big orange fungia as well. So good assortment, different species, different colors there. Over into this $120 system, you've got some high-end SBS pieces in there. You've got some scolifrags, beautiful little scolifrags there. You've got some larger soft corals here. Love the pinks on that piece there. So, so bright, pink and white. What a color combination for the underwater world. Got this little soft coral with candy cane growing off the side, little instant garden going on there. If we pan across quickly over here, we can see Blake's WYSIWYG section where he picks out some of his favorite corals across all price points to showcase to everyone. You see beautiful torch and hammer there. Got some Lobos, you got some Scolifrags, a few bits and pieces in there, even onto Blastos, Acans, Gonies. Very, very nice indeed. In fact, I'll just grab the DSLR so you can have a look at the torch, the color on that torch, and of course, the color on this gold hammer. That is a stunning, stunning piece. Not the biggest hammer in the world, but definitely one of the goldest I've seen. Very, very nice indeed. But heading on to the base of this system, you'll see all sorts down there from SBS, all $35 corals there, so some bargains to be had. Across here, you've got $120 pieces on the base. You've got some big Blastos. In fact, quite a variety of blasters in there, some Acans as well. You've got some more chalice, in fact, some big chalice pieces of nice colors. And then you've got an overflow of $35 pieces up the top from SBS frags to some more encrusting LPS onto some, looks like some alveopora and things there as well. Now, onto our final row of corals. This is the $200 system, or 3 for $500. That hammer in the front right there grabs my attention straight away. What a bright mottled piece that is. Got a really nice couple of reverses there. In fact, 3 reverse stem hammers there that look completely different from each other. Very, very nice indeed. The nice toxic model up the back there. Gorgeous, gorgeous pieces. Some big ones too, I will say. Down the base here, we've got some Cynarias, the bright reds. That one on the front left is probably the brightest there. You get some Wilsoni corals here from WA, quite unique. A little bit like an Acan, but it's slightly different structure. Coming across here, you've got some pretty nice frog spawns, I will say, from a standard greens. Well, I say standard, but toxic greens through to your reverse and then your gold. If you were doing a 3 for $500 deal, you could pick up one of each of those colors there. So you got the reverse, the green, and the gold to get an awesome little garden straight away. Now, if I grab the top down so we can have a look at the colors of these things, you can see that reverse is just to die for. Those toxic greens look very nice indeed. And then that gold gives a beautiful contrast. What a nice frog spawn garden that would make. Heading up to the top here, have a look at this hammer that grabbed my attention. Super, super bright there, particularly compared to some things like the mint green there. Gives huge, huge contrast. You see a nice little gold there. Here's one of those reverses. We're getting pretty close up to these pieces here, but see the different amounts of green and purple on the reverses, and even the different intensity. This one's got a much brighter green to it and a slightly different shaped hammerhead on it. Got a nice little mint colored one there. Very, very nice. Then you come across to this reverse, which has got a less intense green, but probably a more intense purple. Such variety out of pieces that would be otherwise classified the same coral. Look at this gold stem with pink tip hammer. Very, very nice. We are getting pretty close, so I might go down to what's on the base, and we can see we've got those bright Cynarias, that super bright one in the bottom left there. across to the Wilsoni's, which shows their structure and how it varies a bit from acans. They do sort of have the continuous pattern through them, which is super, super unique. You got some scollies in this system. You're moving on to the big blasto rock here in the bottom corner. Have a look at that. Very, very nice pattern indeed. But there is one more coral system to go, and as always, we save the best for last. Up here, we've got the best torch in the house. Now, these are all $250 torch, except for the Holy Grail, which is a $900 piece you can see there. We'll have a look at all of these torch, though, because even the $250 ones, I've got to say, are very, very nice. Some very good pieces in here. Have a look at the size of that big gold there in the front left. Big greens, you got the Hulk green back there, then you got some yellow tips, you got some solid greens, then you come across into the highest end hammers in store. I've got to say that toxic green in the front right is very nice indeed. I would love to see that up against that gold on the other side of this system from Blake's WYSIWYG. That's going to look a treat. On the base of this system, you've got some Trachophilia here, and I say Trachophilia, some high-end Trachophilia. This is the high-end tank, and have a look at the colors these things have. I will get the DSLR out so we can have a good look at these in a minute, but yeah, wow. And then we move on to this incredible green and gold Recordia. Dave got a few of these in, and I managed to secure one for my tank. Absolutely love it. The colors are off the charts. Beautiful piece. Then we come across onto the highest acans in store. Have a look at this one here, red and gold. What a color combination that is. But I did promise we'd get the DSLR out and have a look from the top down. Here's this solid gold up in the top left there, and we'll have a look at some of the greens that are in store to compare against. That one's your sort of solid darker green, and then we come down here to the Hulk green. Have a look how bright that is. Beautiful, beautiful piece indeed. And then we come across onto some of these gold tipped torches here, and I've got to say they give massive contrast. They've got that deep purple stem with a bright gold tip. Looks an absolute treat. Then you've got gold tips with green stems, a lighter green with a gold or peach tip, onto another solid gold torch there. Very, very nice. The flow keeping them all jiggling about nicely. There's that green, look at that, beautiful. And then such contrast against those gold tips. They look an absolute treat. Coming across onto another light green with peach tip, I think is on that one. And then we're going to come right down here to this Holy Grail, which you can see how bright the gold on that is. Green on one side of the stem, gold on the other side of the stem. Absolutely stunning piece. Does run at a premium price, but when you get to have a good close look at it like we are now, you can see why. Such a showpiece coral. But there is more in this system that we've got to have a look at, including some of these hammers. Have a look at this beautiful gold stemmed mottled hammer. Very, very nice indeed. Got another gold stemmed piece here with a sort of light mauve color to it. You've got quite a rose gold hammer here, very different gold from the other gold hammers in store. And coming on down here, this model here, which has got a bit of a pale toxic color through it, a bit of a bleed of green through it there. Super, super unique. And then probably my favorite hammer in store at the moment is this solid toxic green. What a stunner that thing is. Just color for days, and reasonably priced for the color, I will say too. Looking down onto the base of this system, we've got to check out these Trachophilia from the top down, because you get an opportunity to see the full colors on show. Look at that beautiful solid green stripes through it there as well. And then you've got this one here with reds and pinks and peach colors in it. Have a look at this paddle pop one up the back here, just jiggling in the flow. It's got its feeder tentacles out and it's just putting on a little dance, showcasing every one of the probably 18 colors on that piece. What a stunning, stunning coral. I got to say, it's a shame my angel would love to eat these in about 3 minutes flat, because these are some of the nicest Trachophilias I've seen for a long, long time. And whilst they are in the high-end tank, they're not ridiculously priced. Have a look at the green and gold Recordia here. Like I said, I did pick one of these up for my system and I absolutely love it. Look at the colors on it. Stunning, stunning piece. Then we've got some acan there, and we'll have a quick look at some of the chalice before we see where Dave's at and if he's ready to take us through the fish that he has in stock, that he can talk us through some of the traits about these fish, because it's one thing just to have a look at the fish and hear maybe me talk about them, but when you get someone as experienced and knowledgeable as Dave to take us through the process, I think it really levels things up. So I think that's all the coral. We might track Dave down now and have a look at all the fish. All right, Dave, can you show us what fish you have in?
Yeah, let's have a look. Got some yellowtail fusiliers. It's like a giant version of a chromis.
Very nice. When you say giant version, how big is giant?
6 inches or so.
Okay, so they're about half size now?
Yeah, probably just under.
Yep. So they are going to get fairly big.
They're going to get massive, yep.
Still a schooling fish though, yeah?
Yeah, amazing schoolers.
Yeah, right.
We've got a couple of little squirrel fish in there. Pretty cool, also schooling fish, but very predatory, and they get quite large as well. I'm
assuming by the size of their eye that they're normally fairly deep water?
Yeah, they're found in like under rock ledges and caves and stuff, a bit further down.
Yep, nice.
We've got some Disparanthia. And usually you can't tell the difference between the males and females very easily, but at the moment the male is trying to breed with the girls, so he's gone this pastel pink colour.
Yeah, he gets that sort of splotchy...
Yeah, you got the heart sort of showing.
Yeah, crazy, hey.
So he's trying to round up all the girls in there at the moment.
Yeah, he looks cool.
Got a few nice little scopaz.
Definitely.
Got the arc-eye hawk.
The hawk's definitely parading around, showing the newly added coral hog that this is his tank.
Exactly. We've got a tiny little marine beta or comet in at the moment.
Yeah, I do love the marine betas, and that is tiny. What can you tell us about them, Dave?
Not a lot. They're a beautiful fish. They get to about 4 or 5 inches. Their mouth is tiny. They are predatory, but they're unlikely to eat anything bigger than a coral goby because they are such a small mouth.
Yes.
And they're mostly nocturnal, so quite often people put them in the tank and they'll be out and about pacing at night time, but during the day they'll hide in a cave and they'll just be sussing out what's going on.
Sure.
After a few months though, they associate with food, so they'll come out and be a bit more active and part of the crowd.
Stunning fish nonetheless.
Absolutely beautiful.
This little one just gone through the introductory process and now has a camera right in her face, so I'll give her a little bit of space there, but a beautiful fish.
We've got some nice coral beauties. These are really purple. Coral beauties come in the blonde variant, where they're basically just orange with a tiny bit of purple, all the way to the deep water Cebu type coral beauties, where they're solid metallic purple with just a hint of orange coming around. And they're all ever so slightly unique. So even the ones in here, you've got some with more purple, less purple, brighter orange, duller orange.
They're definitely a darker version of what I've seen before. And I know they have just gone through shipping and introduction process and all of that. But
it's also geographical variation. So these guys are from the Philippines, so they're a bit darker naturally.
I was going to ask that. You talk about the variations with the blonde and the blue and the purple and things like that. Obviously the stripes are just, it's almost like a fingerprint basically, but the colours, is that also just pot luck, or is that a little bit of...
It seems to be geographical variations.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Just over years
could be
they've evolved.
Food source and hiding mechanisms. And
Sure. Super interesting.
There's a couple of bicolour angels, and we've got a couple of Heraldes.
Yeah, now I am a shocker for confusing these angels that all look the same. You've got lemon peel, Heraldi, flagfin.
Flagfin's very different, but so the Heraldi is the yellow dwarf angel.
Yes.
The lemon peel is basically a Heraldi with blue eyes and blue gill marks, so it's got makeup on.
Yes.
And the woodheady is the Heraldi, but it has a black spot on the back of the dorsal fin.
Yes, all very, very similar.
Very similar.
Subtle differences.
For some reason, the Heraldi seems to be relatively coral okay. Still an angel, it'll still nip, but not massive destroyer.
Yep.
I find the woodheady to be very similar again, but the lemon peels I find to be one of the worst coral eaters there is. Same as the bicolour angel. They're just one of those fish that just, once they get the taste of a coral, they'll wipe a tank out pretty quick.
It's a shame too. The bicolour is super affordable.
Cheap, pretty, bright colours, active.
Colours. Super, I mean, realistically pretty hardy too. But not so hardy around corals.
We've got a threadfin perch here at the moment. We've probably tripled him in size since we got him. He's getting some nice polka dots along the body now, and he's starting to get that thread across the top and bottom fin.
Definitely.
So another weird and wonderful predator. He's from Western Australia.
And this guy, I mean, he's going to get bigger still, yeah?
He's a food fish.
Yeah.
He can go on the dinner table eventually.
You'll find at the fish and chip shop, maybe.
A couple of little baby blue tangs just came in. Next to them, we've got the frostbite clowns. So they're like an extreme storm with the sort of bullet holes to them.
Yes, right. So yeah, I must admit, I do get confused with all of the fancy breed names. But
me too, don't worry.
Frostbite's typically predominantly white with a few of those bullet holes going on there.
The bullet hole style spots. And then you've got the storms, which have the larger dairy cow-like spots.
Yeah, okay, yep. They typically have those eye marks too, yeah?
Yep, but they're all, there's like 10 different variants now based on how big the spots are, how many they are, where they are.
For sure.
You'll see these guys basically just have the black eyes and then very minimal spots, black fins.
Yes. Very nice. You've got those reduced to clear too as well. I see you're looking for a new home for those.
Yep, they're finally becoming a bit more affordable as they go, so we're passing that on as we go as well.
Beautiful.
We've got a little baby bicolour snapper. So again, snapper, big food fish. This guy will fit inside the matchbox as it sits now, but
yeah, he's tiny at the moment, but he's not going to stay that small for long.
and they look amazing like that, but the colour and pattern changes completely as they get older.
Yeah, so he looks, I mean, to be fair, he's about the size and very similar colour and markings to like a Bangai Cardinal at the moment, but that's about where the similarities end, yeah.
Yep.
He gets 2 foot, something like that.
That species somewhere between 2 and 3 feet. So big,
So massive.
very big.
He's currently in like a 1 foot section of a tank, but he'll end up being 3 times the size of that. Crazy.
We've got some fire gobies or fire dartfish. Beautiful, cheap, pretty easygoing fish. They are very jumpy though, so definitely need some sort of net covering on top of the tank before introducing, but
Right.
good splash of colour. The more of those you have, they'll school up really well, but it'll also bring each other out of their shell a lot more. So
Okay, I was going to ask on the idea of singles, pairs, or
one or
schools.
two's fine, but you're not going to see them as much. You get
Okay.
a group of them, and it's safety in numbers, so they all come out and,
Right.
socialise a bit more.
That's something you need to add the numbers at the same time, or you could add to them as you go.
I've introduced them on top of each other before, but
Yes.
if you introduce one to a group of 3 or 4, it
Right.
can be a bit hit and miss.
Yeah, yeah,
If
you
you're introducing
guys
2 or
take it
3
fixed.
on top of 2 or 3, it's usually fine. It spreads that new fish aggression
For
out.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting.
We got some teeny tiny little yellow mimic tangs.
Beautiful. Yeah,
So these are
couple on
designed to mimic the lemon peel or the Heraldi angel.
there. Yes.
At the moment, again, a bit bigger than a matchbox, really strong yellow colour.
The colours are so yellow at the moment. I mean, they make a yellow tang look bland at the moment.
And
Very,
the
very
mimic
yellow.
tang comes in all different varieties. Most angelfish have a mimic variety, with
Okay.
dwarf angels. These are one of the brightest, boldest ones.
Yes.
One of the harder to get ones for the eagle eye are incredible.
Yes.
But unfortunately, they all end up turning into what's considered a chocolate tang long term.
You say unfortunately.
It's
I must
still
admit,
good.
I've seen some mature mimic tangs lately, and their colour is stunning.
Kind of like a chevron tang. You start off beautiful, stunning, unique.
Yes.
You go into this pretty drab, almost boring, mustardy, dirty colour.
It's still beautiful there.
And then eventually we turn into this darker chocolate yellow fin. They even get some really nice Achilles-like orange near the gills.
Yeah, I think that is a stunning fish at mature coloration. That yellow highlight, the pattern and colour through the body.
They just have that ugly adolescent stage like most of us.
yeah, I still think if that's the ugly phase, it's not a bad ugly phase. Looks pretty good.
If we go down here, we've got some nice blue-eyed bristletooth. So these
Yes.
guys don't get too big. They're one of the smaller bristletooth tangs.
Nice, nice.
Really good algae eater. These guys are a little dark at the moment. You'll see this one's a little bit lighter. You can see the freckles and the stripes. So freckles on the face, stripes on the body.
Yes.
And once they settle in, the colours, the personality, just incredible. Great algae eater.
Beautiful.
We've got some swallowtail chromas. These are captive bred.
Captive bred.
Captive bred, which blows my mind because they're just not available everywhere, and they should be. Cheap, hardy fish, something slightly different to the blue-green chromis.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that sort of fork in the tail, the black outline.
The black outline really gives them a bit of a highlight, really. It really makes the light blue contrast. Obviously, similar sort of setup to chromis. You want to have a decent school of them.
Bigger the number, the more social they're going to be.
Yep.
They don't seem to suffer the Highlander theory where the males pick each other off as they get older.
Yep.
But obviously, the bigger the school, it dithers that aggression out.
Sure thing. Yep, yep.
Down here, we've got a couple of little bicolour anthea left. These are one of my favourite, sort of more affordable anthea.
Yeah,
in
the colours
Australia,
on
they're
these are
$60 and they're like a reverse Bartlett.
They're so pretty there. Particularly once settled in a reef tank, their colours absolutely pop.
They're like a two-tone white and pink with a purple glow over the
Yeah,
top.
stunning, stunning.
We've got a good range of sizes of wild perks in this week.
Yeah, right.
You can basically tell they're wild just because they pop. They're just so
I was going to say
orange.
the colours, you were talking about the colours on the bicolour antheas. The colours on these clowns is
Yep.
crazy. And that's a good indication. I mean, obviously you don't get the crazy wild patterns on them, but the colours are very hard to beat. And yeah, stunning fish.
Great range of size. We've got teeny tiny all the way up to massive. We don't
Yeah.
get wild clowns very often because they're captive bred, so we focus on the captive bred side of things.
Yes.
But every now and then, we'll grab a little batch in.
Sure.
Got some lyre-tail anthea.
Yes, yes.
There's a little juvenile orange-sided fairy wrasse.
This guy's beautiful. He's very active, and that colour on him is stunning. He's got all sorts going on there, from magenta to purple to orange to blue. All the colours of the rainbow.
Down the bottom here, we've got a little trio. We've got a male and 2 female blue jaw triggers.
Yeah, right.
Again, they've only just come in, so they're trying to hide behind the tang.
Definitely, they don't want the camera in their face. But tell me, you've got a trio. Does that mean they are a trio, or you've got 3?
We've got 3 for now, but
Okay.
they do get along no problems at all. Males
nice.
will clash a little bit,
Yes.
but the male-female dynamic seems to work out really well.
Interesting, very nice.
We've got a big aggressive
I was
goatfish.
going to say, this guy's up in the tank all on his own.
He's
for
by
a
himself because he likes to bite people and fish. But great little sand sifter, keeps the sand nice and flat as well. If you've got issues with mounds of sand, they can flatten those out, but they can be a little bit aggressive and they take out your pod populations, things like that.
I bet.
We've got a couple of lions in at the moment. These guys are all eating prepared food now. They're all good size. You can see the belly on them.
Yeah, he's as proud of a lion as you get. Good colours, good flaring up, and very, very interactive. He's expecting food every time you come to the tank.
We had some coral in this tank, so we've got a pretty big wave maker in at the moment. So these guys sit at the side until they get some attention. But again, just massive, settled in,
Yes.
good colour. Over here, we've just moved the dog face out because the cod's being a bit territorial to his little cave that we gave him. He has been fed today, so I don't know if he's going to come out because there is a bit of
Blake
leftover.
tells me this guy is a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, so if we clean the tank, he will latch on and he won't let go. You'll almost take him out of the tank on your hand. And as soon as you put food in there, blink and you miss it. He just punches it straight back. He is a bit calmer now that he's got his own little cave there to hide behind.
He doesn't have as much traffic. I'll
see
be
if
sure
I
to
can
get
him out later.
some B-roll footage of him that we can overlay there.
Down here we've got a pink tail trigger and a thalassoma wrasse.
The pink
lightning
tail's
wrasse.
really starting to get good pink on that tail too. Really
Yeah, a
starting
lot
to
of
colour
these, a lot of fish in general, but especially your triggers and stuff, as they get to that sexual age, the sexual maturity, the colours start to pop out.
Yes.
So you get a lot of these fish, and they're pretty plain as juvenile.
Yep,
And
yep.
it's especially true in freshwater, but as they mature, those colours really start to pop.
Yeah, they really want to peacock off to their potential mates.
Got a little, not so little harlequin tusk.
Yeah,
You see
this-
the blue teeth on him. He's also got blue bones.
This guy he often hangs out there in the corner, and then when food comes out, he parades around.
And the wrasse is keeping him sort of in his corner. They're a big, nasty-looking fish, but 1 in 20 has a semi-aggressive personality. The rest of
right.
them are just timid little puppy dogs.
Yeah.
We've got another monster at the moment. We've got a nice big red-toothed trigger that also likes to bite.
I was going to say, speaking not of puppy dogs, this guy, I mean, well, he's a puppy dog that likes to bite. This guy, a little bit more aggressive, and
See the little fangs in the front there?
he's a stunner. Good looking fish, but we'll keep those fingernails trimmed for you, I bet.
There's a few more fish in this tank. So we've got some double-barred rabbit, really, really good algae eater.
Lovely.
There's some pixie wrasse, coral hog. We've got a little aptasia eating filefish.
Nice.
There's also a medium to large stripey.
Excellent.
Got another coral hog, some spot-nate cardinals. Then we've got this coal tang.
I'm
So,
going to say, this is a fish that we don't see very much anymore.
yep, this has been treated and being rehomed. So Hawaiian endemic, basically impossible to get now, but beautiful specimen, eating really well.
Beautiful.
And then there's a little white cheek tang there as well.
Gorgeous.
Got another predatory style fish. Got a few in this week. Got a decent sized Picasso trigger.
This guy very interactive as well. He
Yep.
always thinks it's food time.
That's a good thing about predatory fish is that they just have this outward personality. They want your attention 24/7. So as soon as you near the tank just comes to life.
Yeah, nice.
Got a gold spotted rabbit here.
Beautiful fish.
Another good algae eater. They can eat bubble, but the magnificent foxface is definitely the way to go there.
Yes.
There's a pair of snowflake clowns, a couple of engineer gobies.
Yep.
They have 1,000 different names.
They go by a few. Whichever name you pick, though, tell us a little bit about those engineer or convict gobies or whatever you want to call
So
them.
they start off as black and white stripy eel-like fish,
Yep.
and as they mature, the stripes turn into more of a pattern or splotches,
Okay.
and eventually the white turns like a really gold-yellow colour.
Oh, wow, okay.
They're a bit of a cave dweller, so they'll dig a cave through the sand under your
Yes.
rockwork, make a bit of a mess there.
Yep.
And another fish that if you have 1 or 2, you're not going to see them very often. You'll see their head pop out, but they're not going to be free swimming as much.
Right.
You have 3, 4, 5, and they're out and about in the water column, being active, sociable.
Interesting. Apart from digging caves under your rock and through your sand, are they not reef safe for any other reason?
No, other than just putting some sand on some bottom-dwelling coral, they're completely reef safe. They're pretty docile.
Okay.
They're not janitorial at all. They're just cosmetic.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
A good way to get that eel-like look in the tank without having a predatory eel in there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they definitely have that eel-like look, and obviously stay a fair bit smaller than most eels, I'm imagining.
Yeah, probably double what they are there, so a little bit less.
A reasonable size. Yeah.
Got a purple tang in there at the moment.
Beautiful.
And then there's the gold triple fin. It's a cousin to the Maori wrasse.
Very cool specimen.
Got a couple of bigger blue tangs, some gold nuggets, and this guy here without his tail because he decided to pick on the wrong fish and got it back. So
he's just been moved over to another system for a bit of respite.
Down here we got the adorable little yellow spotted scorpion fish.
Yeah, this guy's real character. Often sitting up there on the perch. He used to hide in the bit of plumbing, but he's quite happy to sit up on top of it now and just remind you that it's food time every time you go past.
Little teddy bear. Little dog-faced puffer for a little chihuahua or Labrador in your fish tank.
So these guys normally flare up for the camera, but this guy is cool as a cucumber. He's just staring it down.
And last couple of tanks, we've got a pair of Cuda seahorses at the moment.
Nice.
They're going to get sold as a pair because they've been paired up for a while.
Beautiful.
We'll get a big batch of seahorse in about 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
We've got a couple of tiny little long-nosed hawkfish.
Yeah, these are some of the smallest long-nosed hawks I've ever seen. Very, very small. There they are, both peering front and center for the camera.
Next to that, we've got a trio. So these guys, again, they came with the coal tang. They're a rehome. So you've got a pair of wild percula clownfish.
Yes.
With a Picasso clown that have trioed up. And they've been together for about 6 or 7 years. So we want to sell them again as that trio. We don't want to split them up.
Fair enough. Yeah, very nice. Very, very nice.
And last of the fish tanks for now, we've got some lipstick tangs in, little clown tang, cleaner wrasse, just because we also have some powder browns, and powder browns and the clown tangs are particularly prone to parasites.
For sure.
We do run our systems a bit full on here to minimise the chances of that, but yeah, we'll pop him in there with the tangs just in case.
He's going to have plenty of roommates in there to keep
plenty
clean.
Of flesh to eat.
Now tell me, so these are two powder browns, and the difference between a powder brown and a white cheek, is that just the white splash on the cheek, or is there a little bit more to it?
There's a few different fish that all look similar, but the powder brown, or Japonicus tang, has that red in the rear of the dorsal fin.
Okay, yes, I see that.
The gold rim and white cheek don't have the full face of white, they don't have a cheek, and there's no red in the dorsal fin.
Right. So yeah, a few subtle differences, and these guys are absolutely hamming it up for the camera too, despite just going through the process of getting into these tanks. They've
been in the tank for less than an hour now.
Yeah, they're not shy at all, and they're in there with, clown tangs and big narsos and a cleaner wrasse that wants to pick at them.
And lastly, I think we've still got the couple of longfin clowns.
Yeah.
So we've got the nice midnight longfin here.
Yeah, that's super, super friendly, and he's just gone right in front of the wave maker, dispelling the myth about the longfin clowns struggling to swim in high flow. This guy's actually actively searching it out.
And then on this side, so we're still pairing these two up. They do argue quite a bit, but they separate themselves. We've had them long enough now that they associate me with food, so I put my hand in and they come straight up. So and these are your photon type longfins.
I'd say the female out of these pairs, apart from being a little aggressive, she's also got very long fins too. She's a pure example of
black fade through it is stunning. Especially look at underneath the fins down there, they've got like a trail to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, these two are still arguing a little bit, but they hang out with each other more so than not these days, which is good.
It's subsiding a little bit. We just have to feed them separately almost, just to make sure the male gets a chance to feed.
And then lucky last on the long fins, now we've got the black snowflakes.
I'm going to say these two are the friendliest pair I've seen in the longfin varieties. These two are very, very coupled up.
I love how rich, almost red their orange is.
Yeah.
It just contrasts that black and white really dramatically.
Definitely, definitely. These two are really more than 10 centimetres apart. They're very coupled up. Very nice. Thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate your time.
Anytime.
And keep up the great work here at Park Aquarium.
Thank you.
All right, guys, there you have it. That was the tour of all of the fish and coral at my local fish shop, Deer Park Aquarium. I want to give a massive shout out to the owner there, Dave, for one, trusting me to go to the airport to pick up his brand new delivery of marine fish, but also taking the time to allow us to mic him up and get him to take us around all of the fish he has in stock at the moment, because Dave has a ridiculous knowledge of all things reefing related. And whenever I get the opportunity to share some of that knowledge, not only with myself, but all of you at home via this channel, I jump on the opportunity. So I hope you did enjoy all of those little insights that Dave had for us today. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to pop it in the comments section down below. I do personally reply to each and every one of them there. And if I don't know the answer, I will do my best to find out for you. I do want to give a massive shout out to my channel members whose names are on screen here now. These guys chip in a couple of dollars each and every month to make it possible for me to get out and about around this country and showcase all of these beautiful reefing related content that I can share with you guys here on YouTube. Now, I do want to give a quick little sneak peek. A lot of you have been following the new series of my brand new reef tank and have been asking when the next video is coming. I'm super excited to say next weekend that tank is delivered. I will set it up and we'll go from there. So I look forward to seeing you this time next weekend, guys. We'll go through that beautiful UN Systems R60 reef tank. Cannot wait to showcase that with you all here, right here on YouTube. Anyway, guys, till next time, stay safe, keep reefing. Cheers, bye.